Okay, thank you, folks. I appreciate that. We're honored tonight to have Emma Kinsey.
Abby, they messed up. It's not your fault, Coach.
Come on down, Emma. I just changed your name. And if you would please, she's honored to be here tonight, I know, to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, okay? So you're in charge now.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You done a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, next is just input. Turn that over to Ms. Walker.
Our first citizen is Allison Peak, and she will be speaking on the selection of the mental health, behavioral health provider. Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Arnold, and the community for allowing me to speak and take a few minutes of your time this evening. I want to provide you guys with information and a look back of our work together for the 2022-2023 academic year in collaboration between ABHS and Jefferson County Schools. And so for this academic year, ABHS has provided 12 school-based behavioral health liaisons across Jefferson County's 13 buildings. Wait lists and requests for services have resulted in us hiring those 2 additional clinicians beyond the 10 that were in the contract for last year. While those 2 additional clinicians have made considerable impact, there are still wait lists for at least another 5 buildings that we are working rapidly to address. So even with increasing the number of behavioral health clinicians, we still have wait lists. We're doing everything we can. This year, our team of school-based behavioral health liaisons provided more than 5,500 hours of services to a total of 511 children, K through 12, across the county. Of those 511 children, 27% were discharged as a result of having met their goals successfully and then feeling as though they no longer need services and they have achieved what they came to us for. That leaves approximately 380 students who are continuing to work on meeting those goals and improving their relationships with themselves, their families, their peers, all in efforts towards academic excellence. The remaining 27% comes out to 131 students roughly. But school-based services for this year, as a result of the fiscal relationship with Jefferson County Schools, waived a total of $60,232 that would have come directly from the pockets of Jefferson County families. And so because of that relationship, ABHS was able to save that money to our families, which really results in fiscal stability for those families and ability to increase access to services. As previously stated, we helped support a 60% reduction in suspensions over this school year and have collaborated closely with individual buildings and central office to intervene in potential threats of harm to school buildings, respond following hard lockdowns, and to support the emotional well-being of students after tragic passing of their peers. We've also actively participated in Truancy Review Board, Boys and Girls Club of Dublin Valley activities, collaborations with the mayor's office, and many others, as we really are deeply dedicated to Jefferson County as a whole, and not just these buildings and these students. We're pleased to have bid, and you all have that in front of you this evening, to continue services for 2022, 2024, 2023, 2024. Too many numbers, y'all. We believe that long-standing relationship and collaboration between school-based services, educators, students, and the families of Jefferson County will serve the county at a greater good. Really grateful for your time and dedication, and really intentionality in thinking through these things. If you've got questions about the numbers, I'd love to take them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Any questions? I'm sorry. Anybody got any questions? Okay. Next.
Our next speaker is Michelle Light, and she will be speaking on behavioral health.
Before at a recent meeting, I had mentioned about, having in the contract something that mentions no gender identity counseling. I think that was supposed to be in the RFQ from what I understand. And I'm hoping that will go into the contract, as well as, discussions of sexual orientation. From what I understand about schools, they're not supposed to, support or give affirmation for kids having sex. So whether it's heterosexual or any kind of sex, we should not be encouraging our children to have sex, and I hope we aren't. I also would encourage this board to come up with a policy regarding notifying parents if you find out that children within the school are transitioning, maybe social transitioning, and the parents do not know this, and maybe their gender's listed as a boy and they're going by a girl, parents should be notified. I think parents, that's the main thing, parents need to be notified of anything like that. They need to be aware. And I can just tell you that a recent poll from Parents Defending Education, that 75% people polled support requiring schools to get parental consent before helping a student change their gender, or if they find out that their children are changing their gender. And in fact, would you believe that actually a lot of liberal people support this? And in fact, 76% of the people that support this policy are black voters, 71% are white, 66% are Hispanic, 59% are Asian voters, and they want schools to notify them if this is happening within the schools. And I think that's something we need to carry over to contractors. We need a policy. Across the nation, there are many schools being sued by parents because these things were going on, their child had socially transitioned, and they were clueless that this had happened. When they find out, they just feel like it's a slap in the face that they did not know this was happening. So I think that this is something that needs to be addressed before the legislature does it. It's an individual school policy, and individual schools can be held responsible later if something goes on with these kids and they decide that they feel like the school was culpable in any of that. Thank you.
Okay. And everyone.
Next is John Cummins, and he will be speaking on behavioral health.
Thank you. As I've said before, Allied Behavioral Health is a Trojan horse. I don't know who was responsible for letting them in the first place, but contrary to what I heard before on the scripture that was quoted by behavioral health, we are to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. I don't see any indication that they've done that. They've not been open and honest about their goals from the very beginning, about the trans. And I'm here as to warn. Philippians 3:2 says, beware of dogs, beware of evildoers, beware of mutilators of the flesh. This trans agenda is very dangerous. They are all for it. They do have people who work there have to affirm that they're for it. And if you start putting these young girls, if you start putting these hormones in them, they will become violent. A woman's body is not meant to have these hormones in them. What we saw in Nashville was a direct result of a young lady who most likely had these growth hormones in her. And you saw what happened. Many people were murdered. I'm just warning, this is the type of thing to expect. So if you really cared about the children, you will say no to Allied Behavioral Health and perhaps any behavioral health groups. I don't see what that has to do with schools. You need to be educating, get out of the social and psychological, just leave that out of the schools. Thank you.
Our last speaker tonight is Tanya Crook, and she will be speaking on behavioral health.
How are you all? I'm coming to speak on Allied Health, and I am for it. I came last month, and I heard parents speak, and I heard a group speak, that was against them, and there's a person from the other group who sends me information all the time. And the more I hear it, the madder I get, because as a Christian, you don't use scripture for what they're using scripture for. We are told by Jesus Christ we are to love one another, and that's what they've done. They've come into our schools, they have loved our kids. We are seeing our kids change for the better because of what they're doing. And if you don't know, and you've not been in school, because if you don't know, I teach at Talbot Elementary School. I've been in Jefferson County Schools 20 years. I was hired in 03. It is shocking how many of our kids come in with trauma. And I went to Mandy Snyman a few years ago, and I said, how do I help? I've not been trained for this. So what am I supposed to do? And I went to my principal and asked the exact same question. And this is what we were told. This is new for everybody. We're just going to have to write it out. And teachers have been begging for help in our schools and in our classrooms because we do not know how to help these students. And we finally get a group in there who does. And they are loving on our kids, and they are being the hands and feet of Jesus. So I'm going to ask you to vote for them because of the relationships they built with their kids, because of the parents that you've heard that have said they have helped my child. And that's what education is about, educating the whole child. Thank you.
Anybody else? Done? Okay, back in my corner. All right, the next item on the agenda is approval agenda. I assume that.
I make the motion approved.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I was going to take my comments under new business off the agenda.
I'll do that. when we get in.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was just gonna scratch
Good,
it
all right,
out.
fine.
That's okay. It's not a problem.
Okay, I second.
Okay, thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Any debate is the word I have to use now since we passed a new law. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, raise your right hand. And it is, however many's here. Six. I'm gonna write that down right here, so. Anyway, next item, consent agenda. The minutes, any corrections, and there are corrections, and if you would find the minutes, and you can make these corrections, or Rhonda will print you out a new copy, if possible, but it is nothing really, really major, and it has to do with just simply a number, and there are only 6 people here, and there's one, I think these are just typos. If you look on the second page under number 7, yeah, you see where it says 7-0, need to change that to 6-0. And then on page 3, same thing there. If you just go down through there and change those to 6-0, there's 2 of them, then there's some that are correct. They're just typos, and so I don't think that something that minor is worth, put it off to the next meeting. So is that okay with everybody? Now, if you want a new copy, Ron will be happy to print you out one. That's up to you. So anyway, let me go back. Boom. Back to the agenda. And it's wrong, please.
I make a motion to accept on the correction of the minutes.
Do one now.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the correction. That's correct.
Okay, so that we're voting on the consent agenda,
Yeah, the
which
whole
includes that.
yes.
So you're making a motion to approve the consent agenda
Yes, sir.
with the corrections that have been made to the minutes. Correct?
Did I say?
You want me to repeat that again?
No, I got
Good. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Got a second? I guess Doug got it
No,
first,
Doug-
right? So the motion is to approve the consent agenda with the corrections that were made to the minutes. Any debate? Hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda with a correction to the minutes, raise your right hand. And you vote is unanimous. Which is 6. Gotcha. Committee report. You know, I mentioned earlier that I would have to apologize later, and that is now. And I realized this on the way home, or even before the meeting's over. These motions do not require a second. But I think I was calling for a second. And Danny, that's your fault. You should have pointed that out to me. I even had it written in big words on the agenda. No second is needed. Okay? Now, you weren't here. These motions do not require a second for these items. And any member of the policy committee can make the motion. So, do you want to make the motions, or you want Bill to, you want me to? You don't have to. I can make them. Okay, I'm just telling you, I'm gonna be making all the motions, and that is the reason why.
Okay.
So the first one, under first reading, policy 2.806, this is the one we talked about earlier, and I move that we waive the second reading and adopt a proposed policy 2.806 on first and final reading. No second is necessary. Any debate? Hearing no debate. All those in favor of approving the waiver to waive the second reading and adopt proposed policy 2.806 on the first and final reading, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous, 6-0. The next one, 6.4001, I move that policy 6.4001 be approved, the proposed policy be approved on first reading. Any debate? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving proposed policy 6.401 on first reading, raise your right hand. And 6-0, unanimous. Again, under first reading, policy 6.4052, opioid, I move that policy 6.052, proposed policy, be adopted on first reading. Any debate? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving or adopting policy 6.452 on first reading, raise your right hand. Okay, 6-0, or unanimous. How am I doing, Lana? Pretty good? All right.
Great.
Yeah. Second reading. Policy 1.107. I move that we adopt policy 1.107 on second reading. Any debate? We've kind of talked about these. So all those in favor of approving the policy of proposed policy 1.107 on second reading, raise your right hand. Am I on the right reading? Okay, 6-0. I move that we approve proposed policy 5.113 on second and final reading. Any debate? If not, all those in favor of adopting policy 5.113 on second reading, raise your right hand. Okay, unanimous again. And the last one, I move that we adopt proposed policy 6.319 on second and final reading Any debate? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting policy 6.319 on second and final reading, please raise your right hand. You're getting ahead of me, thank you. Folks, I have to read those policies, okay? I know you hear them 3 times or whatever. I have to do that. And I probably have not said it the same way that I got close. Okay, budget amendments. Is there a motion to approve amendment number 22 in Fund 141?
So moved.
So moved. We got it over here. Is there a second?
So moved.
Yeah. Bill seconded it. Any debate on this amendment? Hearing none, seeing none, or whatever. The motion has been made and seconded to approve budget amendment number 22 in Fund 141. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And no negatory, 6-0, unanimous. The next one, is there a motion to approve amendment number 17 in Fund 142?
I make a motion.
So moved, okay. Is there a second?
Second. Nancy second.
Okay, good deal. Nancy second. Got it, Robert? Okay.
And for the record, we got that typo on item 2.
Okay,
Title
I didn't know
3.
about that.
Should be
Title II.
item 2.
Title II. 102, that's separate, that's top
Should it be
two. Or that,
Title 3, English learners? I think that should be 302.
instead of 102,
Yes.
is that what it should be?
Yeah, I can put that in my motion.
I believe that's a typo,
Okay.
but
I didn't.
y'all can take care of that. The money's correct.
Subscribers.
Yeah.
error.
So we don't have to come back and change the
No,
motion.
we do not.
I've done forgot the motion now. I'll get a stab at it. Okay. Motion been made and second to approve budget amendment 17 in Fund 142. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And 6-0. Wow, we're clicking. Unfinished business. We don't have any. New business. I'm gonna stretch yours out, Doug, okay, right now while I get it on my phone, so I won't call on you. Okay, thank you. Proposed certified pay scale. Is there a motion?
So moved. I move.
You gotta state the motion, okay? We have to have something in writing, okay? If you want, what I've been doing there, I've made the motion and you say so moved. I've kinda played you a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't make the motion here.
Yes.
Oh.
But anyway, the motion probably would be to approve the proposed 2023-24 certified pay scale based on 200 days. That suit you?
As presented.
Yes, presented, yes. Okay,
um,
well, I just made the motion. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Doug seconded it, that takes care of that. Okay, any debate? Hearing none, then, all those in favor of approving, the proposed 2023-2024 certified pay scale based on 200 days as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. Did I get it close the second time? There are no votes, unanimous again. Number 2, under new business, selection of the mental health, behavioral health provider. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I
yes.
move to authorize Director of Schools to navigate a contract with Allied Behavioral Health Solution for the mental health counseling.
Okay,
That is,
yeah,
well done.
okay. Have a copy, thank you. Good.
A second.
And Nancy seconds. Did you get that? I've got a copy here I can give you. Okay. So, any debate?
The only thing I wanna say, I know we can discuss.
Okay, you
it.
got the first say.
The only thing I wanna say is, we, in 4 years, we ain't had nobody complain. That's what I looked at. And the main thing, I think that they ain't gonna have none of this other stuff, 'cause I think the director of schools gonna navigate a good relationship with them. That's where I went for it, and I think that's, we have to stay where we are. Kids needs it. I love everybody, but they do need it. If you ain't worked with kids, I know some have, but I have. They need it. And I think we need to stay with them.
Okay. Anybody else? I'd just like to say, at the April 4th meeting, it was a marathon. And I appreciate all of you hanging in, okay? And I felt like it was a topic that we needed to hear pro and con from everybody. I don't think, well, I may have skipped over some people, and that's why Michelle's in charge now. I would skip over names. But the only thing I can say is everybody on both sides were sincere and made good arguments. But the folks who had children in school and spoke, I don't recall a negative from anybody concerning allied behavioral, and that's amazing that many people could talk on the same subject and nothing negative be said as such. And so with that, I do, myself personally, you can make your own decision, I do favor that we favor the motion, and we'll vote for it. Anybody else?
I agree with Moose, I agree with you. I think if you creep on any website, if you creep about anybody, your dentist, your doctor, they may have that LGBTQ, you may find it anywhere. If y'all read through the other person, the other applicant or whatever, the other company, LGBTQ was in there. I don't know if y'all read every word, it's in there. You're not gonna get away from it. I mean, look at the news, it's everywhere. That's not what they're doing. The principals, the teachers, the kids stood up. Mental health is real, we need this, it's helping them. And whoever just spoke up, you said it right. I mean, my daughter's a teacher. It's different what's going on right now. It's not like when we were in school. So, kids are confused right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing no more debate. All those in favor of authorizing the director of schools to negotiate a contract with Allied Behavioral Health Solutions for mental health counseling, raise your right hand. Okay, have 5. Okay, all those opposed? 1, no vote, and the motion carries. Okay, and we're down to next to the last item, school commissioner input. This is the time for you to speak freely. Yes, sir.
Did I miss this when I stuck in traffic?
Do what, sir?
Yes.
Oh.
So what is in there is, from Luke, Perfection Group, and also in there is my, evaluation that I gave you, that you all approved, the evaluation tool. And then, I typed out notes of evidence and gave you criteria for that evaluation to, look at. If you set up a meeting with Rhonda, we can discuss any of that you have questions about, concerns. Sorry about that.
Anybody else want to talk about anything? Okay. Seeing, or hearing none, next item on,
Excuse me, Coach.
yes, sir.
Coach.
I'm sorry, I missed you. I did.
The June 20th, or the June 20th meeting is at Patriot Academy, right?
Oh,
You want him?
June
June
26th.
20th is at Patriot Academy, is it not?
20th?
20th is
July
at
the
Patriot Academy.
July. and-
Special call is here.
Special
On the
call is
26th.
normally in the,
Yeah, we usually meet somewhere small to
Yeah.
just do
the
budget.
budget committee will be very
Yeah.
That is
next
the
one.
26th,
26, jury room.
correct.
Uh,
20, June,
June 26th.
It's a Monday.
In the jury room.
yeah, that's where
And
we,
we're going to 5
Unless
o'clock.
we have,
On the 26th, we're just going to.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear, a couple people were talking.
yeah, we don't know either yet. We've not decided. The
Oh.
20th is Patriot Academy.
What, I don't know.
Isn't that the one David Longmire said there was a conflict? Was that June the
I
20th?
don't, I think.
July the 20th.
July the 20th. July the 20th.
July the
Yeah, I'm sorry,
20th is
I
where
missed
there
July.
was a conflict.
Yeah,
And we've had to change July the 20th to the Patriot Academy.
July
June
20th.
It is at the Patriot Academy.
July 20th, Patriot Academy.
And
The
July
June the
26th?
26th will be
June
here.
the 26th.
Oh, June the 20th.
Yes,
Okay,
that's what
all right,
threw me.
'cause I'm confused.
All right,
Yeah.
one more time.
You been around me too long, Doug, it's
June
coming off
the-
on you.
June the 26th is here.
It's here.
Probably in a little room because there's a lot going on.
That's fine.
And it'll be quick, it's at 5, it's just to approve budget amendments. There's no public comment, there's no other items to be discussed or voted on. End of year budget amendments. And then July the 20th is at Patriot Academy at 5:30 due to a conflict here at the courthouse.
So there's not one June 26th.
That's correct. Yeah, July 26th.
Is there
But
a
please
motion
come
to
on June
adjourn?
26th. We need quorum.
Wait a minute, what
Yes.
time?
Yes, very important.
Okay.
No problem, they'll be here. Yeah, they'll be. 5.
I'll try one more time. Is there a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Wait a minute. Is there a second? Everybody in favor, stand up and leave.